Welcome to Paris. Right now, I am in Paris, which is the capital city of France. France is a very beautiful country. It is a country primarily located in Western Europe. France retains its centuries long status as a global center of art, science, and philosophy. It hosts world's fifth largest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites and is the leading tourist destination, receiving over 89 million foreign visitors in 2018. France is a developed country with the world's seventh largest economy by nominal GDP and the 10th largest by PPP. In terms of aggregate household wealth, it ranks 4th in the world. France performs well in an international rankings of education, healthcare, life expectancy, and human development. It remains a great power in global affairs, being one of the five permanent members of the United Nations Security Council and an official nuclear weapon state. France is a founding and leading member of the European Union and Eurozone and a member of the Group of Seven North Atlantic Treaty Organization (NATO), Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), the World Trade Organization (WTO), and La Francophonie. France is a member of the Group of Seven, formerly the Group of Eight leading industrialized countries as of 2018. It is ranked as world's 10th largest and Europe's second largest economy by purchasing power parity. France joined 11 other EU members to launch the euro in 1999, with euro coins and banknotes completely replacing the French franc in 2002. France has a mixed economy that combines extensive private enterprise with substantial state enterprise and government intervention. The government retains considerable influence over key segments of infrastructure sectors with majority ownership of railway, electricity, aircraft, nuclear weapon and telecommunications. It has been relaxing its control over these sectors since the early 1990s. The government is slowly corporatizing the state sector and selling off holdings in France Telecom, Air France, as well as the insurance, banking, and the defense industries. France has an important aerospace industry led by European consortium Airbus and has its own national spaceport, the Centre Spatial Guyanais. As of 2009, the World Trade Organization reported France was the world's sixth largest exporter and fourth largest importer of manufactured goods. As of 2016, the World Factbook ranked France seventh largest exporter. In 2008, France was the third largest recipient of foreign direct investment among OECD countries at $118 billion, ranking behind Luxembourg, where foreign direct investment was essentially monetary transfers to banks located there, and the United States $316 billion, but above the United Kingdom $96.9 billion, Germany $25 billion, or Japan $24 billion. In the same year, French companies invested $220 billion outside France, ranking France as the second largest outward direct investor in the OECD, behind the United States, which is $311 billion, and ahead of the UK, $111 billion, Japan $128 billion, and Germany $157 billion. Financial services, banking, and the insurance sector are an important part of the economy. Three largest financial institutions cooperatively owned by their customers are located in France. The Paris Stock Exchange, in French it is called La Bourse de Paris, is an old institution created by Louis XV in 1724. In 2000, the stock exchanges of Paris, Amsterdam, Brussels merged into Euronext. In 2007, Euronext merged with the New York Stock Exchange to form NYSE Euronext, the world's largest stock exchange. Euronet Paris, the French branch of the NYSE Euronext Group, is Europe's second largest stock exchange market, behind the London Stock Exchange. France is a member of the Eurozone, around 330 million consumers, which is part of the European single market, more than 500 million consumers. Several domestic commercial policies are determined by agreements among European Union members and by European Union legislation. France introduced the common European currency, the euro, in 2002. French companies have maintained key positions in the insurance and banking industries. AXA is the world's largest insurance company. The leading French banks are BNP Paribas and Crédit Agricole, ranking as the world's first and sixth largest banks in 2010 by assets, while the Societe Generale Group was ranked the world's eighth largest in 2009. With 89 million international tourist arrivals in 2018, France is ranked as the first tourist destination in the world, ahead of Spain, 83 million, and the United States, 80 million. It is third in income from tourists due to shorter duration of visits. The most popular tourist sites include Eiffel Tower, 6.2 million, Chateau de Versailles, 2.8 million, Museum National de Histoire Naturelle, 2 million, Pont du Gard, 1.5 million, Arc de Triomphe, 1.2 million, Mont Saint Michel, 1 million, Saint Chapelle, 683,000, Château du Haut Koenigsbourg, 59,000, Pai de Dôme, 500,000, Mossy Picasso, 441,000, and Carcassonne, 362,000. My pronunciation may be totally wrong. I do not know French language. I apologize for that if my pronunciation was wrong. Please forgive me. France, especially Paris, has some of the world's largest, most renowned museums. French Riviera. With more than 10 million tourists a year, the French Riviera in southeast France is the second leading tourist destination in the country after the Paris region. It benefits from 300 days of sunshine per year, 115 kilometers of coastline and beaches, 18 golf courses, 14 sky resorts, and 3,000 restaurants. Each year, the Côte d'Azur hosts 50% of the world's superyacht fleet. UNESCO World Heritage Sites and Protected Areas. France has 37 sites inscribed in UNESCO World Heritage List and features cities of high cultural interest, beaches and seaside resorts, sky resorts and rural regions that many enjoy for their beauty and tranquility. Green tourism. Small and picturesque French villages are promoted through the association Les Plaques Villages de France. Literally, the most beautiful villages of France. The Remarkable Gardens label is a list of the over 200 gardens classified by the French Ministry of Culture. This label is intended to protect and promote remarkable gardens and parks. France attracts many religious pilgrims on their way to St. James or to Lourdes, a town in the Hautes-Pyrenees that hosts several million visitors a year. France is the smallest emitter of carbon dioxide among the G8 due to its heavy investment in nuclear power. As of 2016, 72% of the electricity produced by France is generated by 58 nuclear power plants. In this context, renewable energies are having difficulty taking off. France also uses hydroelectric dams to produce electricity. And this is the amazing Eiffel Tower. What a magnificent structure. The railway network of France, which as of 2008 stretches 29,400 kilometers, is the second most extensive in Western Europe after Germany. It is operated with high speed, and the trains include the Eurostar, which travels at 320 kilometers per hour in commercial use. The Eurostar, along with The Eurotunnel shuttle connects with the United Kingdom through the Channel Tunnel. Rail connections exist to all other neighborhood countries in Europe except Andorra. Intra-urban connections are also well developed with both underground services and tramway services complementing bus services. These are approximately a million kilometers of serviceable roadway in France, ranking it the most extensive network of the European continent. The Paris region is enveloped with the most dense network of roads and highways that connect it with virtually all parts of the country. French roads also handle substantial international traffic, connecting with cities in neighborhood Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, Andorra, and Monaco. There is no annual registration fee or road tax. However, usage of the mostly private owned motorways is through tolls, except in the vicinity of large communes. The new car market is dominated by domestic brands such as Renault. 27% of the cars sold in France in 2003, Peugeot and Citroën. Over 70% of the new cars sold in 2004 had diesel engines, far more than the contained petrol or LPG engines. France possesses the Millau Viaduct, the world's tallest bridge, and has built many important bridges such as the Pont de Normandie. Air France is one of the biggest airlines in the world. There are 464 airports in France. Charles de Gaulle Airport, located in the vicinity of Paris, is the largest and busiest airport in the country, handling the vast majority of popular and commercial traffic and connecting Paris with virtually all major cities across the world. Air France is the national carrier airline, although numerous private airline companies provide domestic and international travel services. There are 10 major ports in France, the largest of which is Marseille, which also is the largest bordering the Mediterranean Sea. 12,000 kilometers of waterways traverse France, including Canal du Midi, which connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Atlantic Ocean through the Garonne River. Science and technology. France is in 2020 the biggest national financial contributor to the European Space Agency, which conceived the Ariane rocket family launched from French Guiana. Since the Middle Ages, France has been a major contributor to scientific and technological achievement. Around the beginning of the 11th century, Pope Sylvester II born Gerbert d'Aurillac reintroduced the abacus and armillary sphere and introduced Arabic numerals and clocks to northern and western Europe. The University of Paris, founded in the mid 12th century, is still one of the most important universities in the Western world. In the 17th century, mathematician René Descartes defined a method for the acquisition of scientific knowledge, while Blaise Pascal became famous for his work on probability and fluid mechanics. They were both key figures of the scientific revolution which blossomed in Europe during this period. Amazing, isn't it? The Academy of Sciences was founded by Louis XIV to encourage and protect the spirit of French scientific research. It was at the forefront of scientific developments in Europe in the 17th and 18th centuries. It is one of the earliest academies of sciences. The Age of Enlightenment was marked by the work of biologist Buffon and chemist Lavoisier, who discovered the role of oxygen in combustion, while Diderot and D'Alembert published the Encyclopedia, which aimed to give access to useful knowledge to the people, knowledge that can apply to their everyday life. With the Industrial Revolution, the 19th century saw spectacular scientific developments in France, with scientists such as Augustin Fresnel, founder of modern optics, Sadi Carnot, who laid the foundations of thermodynamics, and Louis Pasteur, a pioneer of microbiology. Other eminent French scientists of the 19th centuries have their name inscribed on the Eiffel Tower. Famous French scientists of the 20th century include the mathematician and physicist Henri Poincaré, physicists Henri Becquerel-Perry and Marie Curie, who remain famous for their work on radioactivity. I remember that reading in my school textbooks. The physicist Paul Langevin and virologist Luc Montagnier, co-discoverer of HIV/AIDS. Hand transplantation was developed on 23rd September 1998 in Lyon by a team assembled from different countries around the world, including Jean-Michel Dubernard, who shortly thereafter performed the first successful double hand transplant. Telesurgery was developed by Jacques Marescox and his team on 7th September 2001 across the Atlantic Ocean. A face transplant was first done on 27th November 2005 by Dr. Bernard Deverchil. France was the fourth country to achieve nuclear capability and has the third largest nuclear weapons arsenal in the world. It is also a leader in civilian nuclear technology. France was the third nation after the former USSR and the United States to launch its own space satellite and remains the biggest contributor to the European Space Agency ESA. The European Airbus formed from the French group Aerospatiale along with Daimler Chrysler Aerospace and the other aerospace CASA designs and develops civil and military aircraft as well as communication systems, missiles, space rockets, helicopters, satellites, and related systems. France also hosts major international research instruments such as the European Synchrotron Radiation Facility or the Institut Langevin and remains a major member of CERN. It also owns Minatec, Europe's leading nanotechnology research center. With an estimated 2020 population of 67 million people, France is the 20th most populous country in the world, the third most populous in Europe after Russia and Germany, and the second most populated in the European Union after Germany. France is an outlier among developed countries in general and European countries in particular in having a relatively high rate of natural population growth by birth rates alone. It was responsible for almost all natural population growth in the European Union in 2006. Between 2006 and 2016, France saw the second highest overall increase in population in the European Union and was one of the only 4 European Union countries where natural births accounted for most population growth. This was the highest rate since the end of the baby boom in 1973 and coincides with the rise of the total fertility rate from a nadir of 1.7 in 1994 to 2.0 in 2010. As of January 2017, the fertility rate declined slightly to 1.93 children per woman, below the replacement rate of 2.1 and considerably below the high of 4.41 in 1800. France's fertility rate and crude birth rate nonetheless remain among the highest in the European Union. However, like many developed nations, France's population is aging. The average age is 42.6 years, while close to a fifth of French people are 65 or over. Average life expectancy at birth is 82.2 years, the ninth highest in the world. Wow, amazing. You are really lucky if you are born in France. You will have a longer life. From 2006 to 2011, population growth averaged 0.6% per year. Since 2011, annual growth has been between 0.4 and 0.5% annually. Immigrants are major contributors to this trend. In 2010, 27% of newborns in metropolitan France had at least one foreign born parent and 24% had at least one parent born outside of Europe, excluding French overseas territories. Ethnic groups. Most French people are of Celtic with an admixture of Italic Romans and Germanic Franks groups. Different regions reflect this diverse heritage with Notable Breton elements in western France, Aquitanian in the southwest, Scandinavian in northwest, Alemannic in the northeast, and Ligurian in the southeast. Since the French Revolution and as codified in the 1958 French Constitution, it is illegal for the French state to collect data on ethnicity and ancestry. In 2008, TEO Trajectories and Origins poll conducted jointly by INED and the French National Institute of Statistics estimated that 5 million people were of Italian ancestry, the largest immigrant community, followed by 3 million to 6 million of Northwest African ancestry. 2.5 million of sub-Saharan African origin, 500,000 ethnic Armenian, and 200,000 people of Turkish ancestry. There are also sizable minorities of other European ethnic groups, namely Spanish, Portuguese, Polish, and Greek. France had a significant gypsy population numbering between 20,000 and 4 lakh. Many foreign Romani people are expelled back to Bulgaria and Romania frequently. It is currently estimated that 40% of the French population is descended at least partially from different waves of immigration the country has received since the early 20th century. Between 1921 and 1935 alone, about 1.1 million net immigrants came to France. The next largest wave came in 1960 when around 1.6 million Piednoirs returned to France following the independence of its northwest African possessions, Algeria and Morocco. They were joined by numerous former colonial subjects from North and West Africa, as well as numerous European immigrants from Spain and Portugal. France remains a major destination for immigrants, accepting about 200,000 legal immigrants annually. In 2005, it was Western Europe's leading recipient of asylum seekers with an estimated 50,000 applications. That is crazy. The French healthcare system is one of universal healthcare largely financed by government national health insurance. In its 2000 assessment of world healthcare systems, the World Health Organization found that France provided the close to best overall healthcare in the world. The French healthcare system was ranked first worldwide by the World Health Organization in 1997. In 2011, France spent 11.6% of GDP on healthcare, or $4,000 per capita, a figure much higher than the average spent by countries in Europe but less than in the US. Approximately 77% of health expenditures are covered by government funded agencies. Care is generally free for people affected by chronic diseases such as cancer, AIDS, or cystic fibrosis. Average life expectancy at birth is 78 for men and 85 years for women, one of the highest of the European Union and the world. There are 3.2 physicians for every 1,000 inhabitants in France, and average healthcare spending per capita was $4,719 in 2008. As of 2007, approximately 140,000 inhabitants of France are living with HIV/AIDS. Even if the French have the reputation of being one of the thinnest people in developed countries, France, like other rich countries, faces an increasing and recent epidemic of obesity due mostly to the replacement in French eating habits of traditional healthy French cuisine by junk food. The French obesity rate is still far below that of the United States, currently equal to American rate in the 1970s, and is still the lowest of Europe. Authorities now regard obesity as one of the main public health issues and fight it fiercely. Nevertheless, rates of childhood obesity are slowing in France while continuing to grow in other countries. In 1802, Napoleon created the lycée, the second and final stage of secondary education that prepares students for higher education studies for a profession. French education is centralized and divided into three stages: primary, secondary, and higher education. Higher education is divided between public universities and prestigious and selective grande écoles such as Sciences, Paris for political studies, economics, etc. France has been a center of Western cultural development for centuries. Many French artists have been among the most renowned of their time, and France is still recognized in the world for its rich cultural. Now, that's a super cool car, and this is the Ferrari. Ferrari is an Italian luxury sports car manufacturer based in Maranello, Italy, founded by Enzo Ferrari in 1939 out of the Alfa Romeo race division as Auto Avio Costruzioni. The company built its first car in 1940. However, the company's inception as an auto manufacturer is usually recognized as 1947, when the first Ferrari badged car was completed. Ferrari's headquarters is in Italy, and it's a very big company. Fiat SPA acquired 50% of Ferrari in 1969 and expanded its stake to 90% in 1988. Throughout its history, the company has been noted for its continued participation in racing, especially in Formula One, where it is the oldest and most successful racing team, holding the most constructors' championships and having produced the highest number of drivers' championships wins, which is 15. Ferrari road cars are generally seen as a symbol of speed, luxury, and wealth. Ferrari cars are built at 165,000 square meters or 16.5 hectares Maranello factory. In 2014, Ferrari was rated the world's most powerful brand by Brand Finance. In June 2018, the 1963 250 GTO became the most expensive car in history, setting an all-time record selling price of $70 million. That is humongous, that is unbelievable. $70 million, that is crazy. The first vehicle made with the Ferrari name was the 125S. This was primarily a sports or racing model. Again, if the early Ferrari cars typically featured bodywork design and customized by independent coach builders such as Pininfarina, LaFerrari, the focus was shifted to what is now the standard Ferrari, lying on in-house design from the Centro style Ferrari. For a time, Ferrari built 2 plus 2 versions of its mid-engined V8 cars. Although they looked quite different from their two-seater counterparts, both the G24 and Mondial were closely related to 308 GTB. Ferrari entered the mid-engine 12-cylinder fray with the Berlinetta Boxer in 1973. The later Testarossa, also mid-engine 12 cylinders, remain one of the most popular and famous Ferrari road cars of all time. Supercar Mythos is one of the supercar which was designed by Ferrari. Ferrari has produced a number of concept cars such as Mythos. While some of these were quite radical and never intended for production, others such as Mythos have shown styling elements which were later incorporated into production models. The Special Products program was launched in the late 2000s where superb Ferrari cars were made. From the beginning, the Ferrari naming convention consisted of a 3-digit unitary displacement of an engine cylinder with an additional suffix representing the purpose of a vehicle. Flagship models use the letter F followed by the anniversary in years such as F40, F50. The Enzo skipped this rule, although the F60 name was applied to Ferrari Formula One car and is sometimes attached to the Enzo. Ferrari cars are truly amazing. They have a great history behind them. Right now, I'm heading towards the magnificent Louvre Museum. It has a great deal of art and history shown in the museum. It is the world's largest art museum and a historic monument in Paris, a central landmark of the city. It is located on the right bank of the Seine in the city's first arrondissement district. Approximately 38,000 objects from prehistory to the 21st century are exhibited over an area of 72,735 square meters. In 2019, the Louvre received the 9.6 million visitors, making it the most visited museum in the world. Isn't that amazing? Unbelievable. The museum is housed in the Louvre Palace, originally built as the Louvre Castle in the late 12th to 13th century under Philip II. Remnants of the fortress are visible in the basement of the museum. Due to urban expansion, the fortress eventually lost its defensive function, and in 1546 Francis I converted it into the primary residence of the French kings. The building was extended many times to form the present Louvre Palace. In 1682, Louis XIV chose the Palace of Versailles for his household, leaving the Louvre primarily as a place to display the royal collection, including from 1692 a collection of ancient Greek and Roman sculpture. In 1692, the building was occupied by the Académie des Inscriptions and the Académie Royale des Peintures, which in 1699 held the first of a series of salons. The collection was further increased during the reign of Louis XVIII and Charles X, and during the Second French Empire, the museum gained 20,000 pieces. The Louvre Palace, which houses the museum, was begun as a fortress by Philip II, more commonly known as Philip Auguste, in the 12th century to protect the city from English soldiers who were in Normandy. Remnants of this castle are still visible in the crypt. And here is the world famous Mona Lisa painting. The Mona Lisa is a half length portrait painting by Italian artist Leonardo da Vinci, considered an archetypical masterpiece of the Italian Renaissance. It has been described as the best known, the most visited, the most written about, the most sung about, the most parodied work of art in the world. The painting's novel qualities include the subject's enigmatic expression, the monumentality of the composition, the subtle modeling of forms, and atmospheric illusionism. The painting is probably of the Italian noblewoman Lisa Gherardini, the wife of Francesco del Gioconda, and is in oil on a white Lombardy poplar panel. It has been believed to have been painted between 1503 and 1506. However, Leonardo may have continued working on it as late as 1517. It was acquired by King Francis of France and is now the property of the French Republic itself, on permanent display at Louvre, Paris since 1797. Mona Lisa is one of the most valuable paintings in the world. It holds the Guinness World Record for the highest known insurance valuation in history of $100 million in 1962, equivalent to $660 million in 2019. Now I'm heading towards one of the seven wonders of the world, Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower is a wrought iron lattice tower on the Champ de Mars in Paris, France. It is named after the engineer Gustave Eiffel, whose company designed and built the tower. Locally nicknamed La Dame de Fer, English it means Iron Lady. It was constructed from 1887 to 1889 as the entrance to the 1889 World's Fair. It was initially criticized by some of the France's leading artists and intellectuals for its design, but it has become a global cultural icon of France and one of the most recognizable structures in the world. The Eiffel Tower is the most visited paid monument in the world. 6.9 million people ascended it in 2015. The tower is 1,063 feet tall, about the same height as an 81-story building and the tallest structure in Paris. Its base is square, measuring 125 meters on each side. During its construction, the Eiffel Tower surpassed the Washington Monument to become the tallest man made structure in the world, a title it held for 41 years until the Chrysler Building in New York City was finished in 1930. It was the first structure to reach a height of 300 meters. Due to the addition of a broadcasting aerial at the top of the tower in 1957, it is now taller than the Chrysler Building by 17 feet. Excluding transmitters, the Eiffel Tower is the second tallest freestanding structure in France after Millau Viaduct. The tower has three levels for visitors, with restaurants on the first and second levels. The top level's upper platform is 906 feet above the ground, the highest observation deck accessible to the public in the European Union. The tower has three levels for visitors, with restaurants on the first and second levels. The top level's upper platform is 906 feet above the ground. Tickets can be purchased to ascend by stairs or lift to the first and second levels. The climb from ground level to the first level is over 300 steps, as is the climb from the first level to the second. Although there is a staircase to the top level, it is usually accessible only by lift. The design of the Eiffel Tower is attributed to Maurice Koechlin and Emile Nauger, two senior engineers working for the Eiffel. It was envisioned after discussion about a suitable centerpiece for the proposed 1889 Exposition Universelle, a world's fair to celebrate the centennial of the French Revolution. Eiffel openly acknowledged that inspiration for a tower came from Latting Observatory building in New York City in 1853. In May 1884, working at home, Koechlin made a sketch of their idea, described by him as a great pylon consisting of four lattice girders standing apart at the base and coming together at the top, joined together by metal trusses at regular intervals. Eiffel initially showed little enthusiasm, but he did prove further study, and the two engineers then asked Stephen Sauvestre, of the head of the company's architectural department, to contribute to the design. Sauvestre added decorative arches to the base of the tower, a glass pavilion to the first level, and other establishments. The new version gained Eiffel's support. He bought the rights to the patent on the design, which Koechlin, Naugier, and Sauvestre had taken out, and the design was exhibited at the Exhibition of Decorative Arts in the autumn of 1884 under the company name. On 30 March 1885, Eiffel presented his plans to the Société des Ingénieurs Civils after discussing the technical problems and emphasizing the technical problems of the tower. He finished his talk by saying the tower would symbolize not only the art of the modern engineer but also the century of industry and science in which we are living, and for which the way was prepared by the great scientific movement of the 18th century and the revolution of 1789, to which this monument will be built as an expression of France's gratitude. Little progress was made until 1886, when Jules was re-elected as the President of France and Edouard was appointed as a Minister for Trade. A budget for the exposition was passed, and on 1st May, Lacroix announced an alteration to the terms of the open competition being held for the centerpiece to the exposition, which effectively made the selection of Eiffel's design a foregone conclusion, as entries had to include a study for a 980 feet four-sided metal tower on Champ de Mars. On 12th May, a commission was set up to examine Eiffel's scheme and its rivals, which a month later was after some debate about the exact location of the tower, contract was signed on 8th January 1897. This was signed by Phil acting in his own capacity rather than as a representative of his company and granted him 1.5 million francs towards the construction costs, less than a quarter of the estimated 6.5 million francs. Eiffel was to receive all income from the commercial exploitation of the tower during the exhibition and for the next 20 years. He later established a separate company to manage the tower, putting up half the necessary capital himself. The proposed tower had been a subject of controversy, drawing criticism from those who did not believe it was feasible and those who objected on artistic grounds. Prior to the Eiffel Tower's construction, no structure had ever been constructed to a height of 300 meters, and many people believed it was impossible. These objections were an expression of a long standing debate in France about the relationship between architecture and engineering. It came to a head as work began at the Sham. There was a committee of 300 was formed, led by prominent architect Charles Garnier and including some of the most important figures of the arts. Eiffel responded to these criticisms by comparing his tower to the Egyptian pyramids. My tower will be the tallest edifice ever erected by man. Will it not also be grandiose in its way? And why would something admirable in Egypt become hideous and ridiculous in Paris? These criticisms were also dealt by Edward Lacroix in letter of support written to Alphand, sardonically saying, judging by the stately swell of the rhythms, the beauty of metaphors, the elegance of its delicate and precise style, one can tell this protest is the result of collaboration of the most famous writers and poets of our time. Paris was an amazing experience for me. I will never forget this moment. Paris is the most beautiful city I have ever seen. I felt that I have gone a few centuries back. This city is so well protected and the culture is so well protected. The Eiffel Tower is amazing. The museum is amazing. The Mona Lisa smile is amazing. I will never forget these moments I spent. Apart from history, France also has shown the future. It is a nuclear power. It is one of the leading countries in space research. What an amazing combination. History and future. You, what a beautiful city. I will really miss my moments in Paris. Now I'll be leaving back to my country. I feel kind of sad, but life has to go on. I have to go back home. I am also missing my home at the same time, and I'm having mixed emotions. This is a very emotional moment for me. This was a dream for me to go to Paris and go on top of the Eiffel Tower. My dream has come true. This is a very, very unbelievable achievement, personal achievement for me. I'm feeling very happy and excited, and I will be showing you more of my travel videos. So please support me. I hope you are enjoying my video. I hope you're getting the information which I'm sharing with you. Traveling is not easy, it takes a lot of time and effort. So please support me, guys. I hope you are liking the video. I'm going back home. I feel a bit sad and also I'm happy somewhere down the line because I'm going back home. France has given me so many memories. It's such a beautiful country. I have learned a lot from history. I've learned a lot from France. Now it's time for me to chill now and head back to my country. I just want to say one thing in France: au revoir, which means goodbye. I hope you guys enjoyed my complete Paris tour.